It's just like what's in your heart and like what you're willing to push through. And I just felt
Hmm.
that it was the right thing to do. And I do have a belief that when you believe in something and it's the right thing to do, it's what you need to
Make
do.
it happen.
You know, you asked about my dad and his influence. I mean, one of the things that he really influenced me on when I first was telling him about the whole coffee thing, and we are in the DC area where he was living and I was living. I told him about that day. He said, "Well, what are you doing here?" I'm like, "What do you mean?" He's like, "Go do it." And that was just his thing. It's like the
Wow.
second it's in your head, you better be taking action, or else you're just all talk.
Okay.
And I did it, and to his credit, I listened to him and I went out there and I, started the process.
What happened to the cigars?
I sold it. I sold it to JR Cigars. So we were doing about 3.5 million cigars per year. We were, a pretty respected value brand because that's a big belief of mine. And I sold it outright to JR Cigars in 2001. They're still being sold. There's still Mayorga cigars out there. It's kind of cool to see.
Nice.
Yeah.
How fun. And so, were there any, like, you take the risk. You're 20 something. You're like, okay, we're going to do this coffee thing. No one's ever done it. Like, there's no blueprint, certainly. The industry is probably pretty tight already because, that's how it's always quote worked, quote. And how does your family relate? Because you're the youngest. So did people like your family or people around you were like, are you sure you want to, like, you dropped
Yeah.
out of college? Are you sure about this coffee thing?
Look, I always say, like, my timing's terrible. Like, I should have been born like 20 years later because even so, like, dropping out of college and starting a business, what's now known as being an entrepreneur,
I know.
you were kind of a loser back then. Like, I was not like, I was this great guy doing like, what a loser. This guy leaves college. Like, I was literally, I mean, I remember seeing people from high school out and like, it was kind of a joke. I was kind of like this guy who couldn't get his act together to start a career. And like, so it was not looked well upon. And my family didn't look well upon it either, especially my dad being a formal, educated, who, Latinos, because of our limited options in our countries, we believe in education being like the holy grail of how to escape or achieve or whatever it is. So to not follow education in a trajectory through a corporate structure, I was a loser. I mean, the whole thing of entrepreneurship is hilarious to me now because I was like, man,
Yes.
I was a total loser for what I did to people. Now it would be the coolest thing ever, right?
Right.
Um, so yeah, it was not easy.